Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am.
Nino Brown Boxing, and I'm back in the building. Shout out to the LDBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. So, it's been a couple days now. It's gone by since the Lomachenko-Rigondeaux fight. And my feelings have somewhat changed. I felt like I was a little bit too harsh on Rigo. But, in some moments I feel like I gave him the right amount of feedback on how I felt. But whatever, moving forward. Just thinking about the whole quitting thing, it just got me thinking about other portions of the sport and got me thinking like, what's worse? A quitter or a ducker? And, it's kind of pros and cons to both sides. You can look at it like this. A ducker may never have a history of quitting. A ducker could have gotten in the ring and given it his all against the opponents that he was willing to get in the ring with. But at the same time, you can have someone that got in the ring and they quit. And I understand there's different levels of quitting and it's different circumstances. Even though those circumstances doesn't change the fact that the person quit or they can be labeled a quitter, it's definitely different circumstances. Prime example, when the fights that Victor Ortiz has been in the past, you have a young guy that's in his prime getting in a ring that he's equally the same size with or slightly bigger than his opponent, and then he quits. But then you have someone in Rigondeaux's case, he's obviously older, he's significantly smaller, and even though that's no excuse for quitting, you have to look at the facts of the situation, and the facts are different. So just going back to comparing the quitting to the duckers, I'm trying to figure out like what's worse. And my thing is, at this point, I kind of look at them equally, but we have a sport full of guys that duck prime opposition, and they're never really called out on it. They're never called out on it by the vast majority of people, or if they are, they're not called out on it the way that Rigondeaux has been called out for quitting. They're not ridiculed for, like, okay, Keith Thurman, yes, he's been getting the blues. He definitely has. I can't put that past the fans. And a lot of guys that are like, Deontay Wilder fans or just pure boxing fans with no bias at all, they definitely give Anthony Joshua the blues when it comes to the whole Wilder situation. But you still have plenty of guys in the sport of boxing that have ducked prime opposition for whatever reason, and they haven't received the backlash that Rigondeaux has received for quitting. And I saw some meme on Instagram, and I commented on it, expressing how I feel about this issue, comparing a quitter to a ducker. And it said something like, "Warrior, thank you for being a warrior and not quitting." And in the middle of the meme, it had like a picture of Rigondeaux, and it said, "Not you." But in that same picture, it had Anthony Joshua, it had Sean Porter, it had Manny Pacquiao, it had Canelo Alvarez. And all of those guys at some point, they've ducked. You got a guy like Manny Pacquiao that has said on numerous occasions, and his trainer Freddie Roach has said that Manny Pacquiao can still make 140, but they've been ducking Terrence Crawford for like the last 3 years now. You got Sean Porter, where you have a guy in his division that's a champion. He chooses not to fight Errol Spence, but decides that he wants to fight Adrian Granados, or possibly he'd rather fight Danny Garcia before he fight the guy that has his old belt. You have a guy like Anthony Joshua, in my opinion, and plenty of other people's opinion, he's clearly ducking Deontay Wilder, and he's trying to make it seem like, it's simply the business side, even though he's come out of his own mouth and said, like, at this point, he doesn't feel that he's ready, or he wants to get the fight with Wilder when he's in a better position to win. So comparing these type of guys to a guy like Rigondeaux that hit you with the good old no mas, whatever you want to call it, my thing is, like, what's worse? Should you commend the guy for daring to be great? Yeah, Rigondeaux, he talked a boatload of shit. He was all on Instagram. He was making the memes. He was on Twitter. But at the same time, he tried. He got in the ring, and for whatever reason, he decided to quit. But he got in the ring. He was hit by the man that he quit against, versus you have guys that just aren't willing to get in the ring at all. And it's just like, to me, the bigger cowards are the guys that aren't willing to get in the ring. Like, not even considering a guy going up 2 weight classes, because that's definitely not a necessity. But going down a weight class that you say you can make, come on, man. That's a coward move. Not fighting the guy in your division that has a belt when you're beltless, that's a coward move. Calling out like Triple G did, called out, say he can knock out everyone from 154 to 175, but when Andre Ward tells you to come into 168, you don't want to do it. And I'm just trying to figure out how is Rigondeaux getting a bigger backlash compared to all of these guys. And like, I know some part of it has to do with race, but at the same time, in its entirety, it's really not, because you have a guy like Sean Porter. From a good amount of people, Sean Porter, he gets a pass, and they try to say, you know, it's understanding to why he hasn't fought, why he's not ready to fight Errol Spence yet, and it just makes sense. Or people are excusing the fact that they said the Porters don't want to work with the IBF, which I feel is complete bullshit. Because I know if Manny Pacquiao was the current IBF champion, Sean Porter, Kenny Porter would be all over that fight. But, you know, this whole comparison between quitter and ducker, it's just been on my mind. And, you know, hopefully it sparks some other people to come up with some videos on it, because I haven't fully decided how I feel on it. And any comments would be appreciated. You know, for anybody that may think, oh, I'm trying to excuse Rigondeaux's actions, no, I'm not at all. Like, I still stand by what I say. I don't like the fact that he quit. But at the same time, if we're going to speak on Rigondeaux being a quitter and put him on blast to the level that he's been put on, we need to also do the same thing to the guys that have obviously ducked prime opposition. And like, even with Rigondeaux's case, you know, it's fine putting Rigondeaux on blast, but you got guys like Leo Santa Cruz, Scott Quigg, and Carl Frampton. They haven't even felt half the criticism, not even 25% of the criticism of years of ducking Rigondeaux. They haven't. Then Rigondeaux has faced more criticism in the one night of him losing that fight than they've received over like the last couple years, and I believe that's completely wrong. I mean, we know there's a lot of people out there that got a lot of bias against Rigondeaux, and for whatever reason they don't like the guy. But at the same time, you know, we got people on both sides of the pond, and a lot of people, they're not really addressing it. But hey, if anyone wants to make a part 2, make a response video to this, hey, go ahead, go for it. You know, let me know so I can make sure I see it. But until next time, y'all, it's Nino Brown Boxing. Shout out to the LDBC. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and please comment on this video. Peace.